Hi stars, welcome back to my YouTube channel. And if this is your first time, my name is Michael, a front-end engineer. And on my space here, I share content relating to tech and lifestyle. If these are things you are interested in and you haven't subscribed yet, kindly click on the subscribe button below and also turn on the notification bell so that you'll be part of the first set of people to know when I drop a new video. In today's video, I'll be showing you how I approach implementing a UI and bringing it to life with code. The main focus of this video is to show you my approach of implementing a UI. Hence, we'll be having a fully responsive application or web page. Kindly note that, and the main focus of this video is to show you my approach to implementing the design. That being said, let's get right into it. Here's the design I'll be implementing. It's a simple landing page hero. I already downloaded the images from the design, saved it in an image folder under my project folder structure. I will go ahead to create two files, index.html and style.css. The index.html will take in my HTML code, while the style.css will take in my CSS code. If you are using VS Code or any other similar editor, you can easily type in the exclamation mark and you get a template of the HTML file starting point. Change the title to a preferred page title so you can have a nice page title for your website. To run this project on our local machine, we'll be needing Live Server. Live Server is an extension built for running server-side pages like PHP, HTML, that's the one we are currently using, on your local machine. If you don't already have it installed, you should see an install button instead of uninstall as you can see on your screen currently. Click on install and you have it already on your machine. At the bottom right corner, click on go live to serve your project locally on your machine. You should have an empty page and a title that says landing page home, as we have added in our title tag. Next, I will import the fonts I will be using from Google Fonts. Visit fonts.google.com and search for Poppins, which in my case I will be using. I will go ahead to look for the sizes and add the font sizes I will use. Add them to my collections so as to get an exportable font size. I will copy the font imports and go ahead to paste it in my CSS file. And to style my body tag, I will also add the font style from Google Fonts, get it copied and paste. Next, I will go ahead to style my CSS Universal Selector. The CSS Universal Selector is symbolized with an asterisk and it can be used to select any and all types of elements in an HTML page. I will give it a default margin, padding and box sizing as border box. Before I go ahead into the design implementation, I like to visualize my UI as different sections made up into a whole interface. As you can see on the screen, in this case, I visually segment every section of the page so as to have them in different divs, which is a short for division. Each div has a class or element which will be used for styling it. So I start with my hero class, which has a child element with the class hero container, which in turn has a child element of header, where I'll be having my nav link and my logo. In my logo div, I will have an image tag with a path to the logo stored in the image folder. I will also add an alternate text to my image for accessibility concerns. And I will create a paragraph tag for the logo text. When you go to your browser, you should have something like this. I will create an unordered list for my links, represented with an A tag, which is a link tag. Grab the text from the design, duplicate each and edit the text to suit the design. Next, I will add my button for the login action. Add the login text also, and you should have something like this on your browser. I will add a default styling for my buttons across the page, which is a pointing cursor. I will go ahead to style my hero section as illustrated in the preceding division breakdown analysis. It is more like the main container for the page. I will add a background styling which I already copied. It is a linear gradient. I will also add a height of 100 view height for the course of this tutorial. Go ahead to the browser to check, and it seems like we have an issue. In my index.html, I just noticed we haven't linked the style, so I'm going to link the CSS file to the HTML. When the CSS file is not linked, you wouldn't be able to have this. Make sure you have your CSS file linked to your HTML. I will style my hero container with a maximum width of 1440 pixels, as that is what the design requires. I will also add a margin of auto to the container so as to have same space left and right. I will style my header and give it a display of flex, align items center so as to have it horizontally aligned. Also add justify content space between to give space between the two elements in the header tag, and also add a padding top and bottom 33 pixels, left and right 165 pixels, and this is what we have already coming to life. And now we want to style the logo part, so we are going to pick the logo element with the class of logo, and we also want to display flex here so as to have the logo and the text side by side. Align the item center to have it horizontal also, and give the text in the logo div a font weight. Add a font size of 24 pixels to it, and you also want to add a line height to this element. Also add a color to give the text in the logo div a color of EEE 9dB. That's the X code, and the gap between both items 5 pixels, and this is what we have currently. And we go ahead to style the right hand side of the header. I will pick the nav tag nested inside the header class, give it a display flex and an align item center so as to have it horizontally aligned, and also a gap of 5 pixels. This is the outcome, the space between the links and the button. Go ahead to style the links part, where we next a styling into our nav UL. Give it a list style of none, so that we don't have the default list styling. Give it a display flex, also an align item center, and a gap between, which is 20 pixels. And this is what our page looks like now. Now we want to style the tags themselves. I mean the link tag itself. So we next our styling to pick up our A tag. And the first thing we want to do is to give it a text decoration of none, so as to take off the default underline that comes with our A tag from HTML. I also want to give it the desired color, which is our EEE 9dB. That's the X code for our default color here. And the font size of 24 pixels. Also a font weight of 500. And this is what our page looks like. Look like we have a bigger font size. So let's double check that. There's an error in our font size. It's supposed to be 14 pixels. Now that is what we have. That looks better. And we go ahead to style our button, which is inside our nav tag. Our button has a transparent background, so we'll be giving it background transparent CSS property, and also we'll be adding a color, which is our default EEE 9dB. We will also add a border of 1px solid of EEE 9dB, and also a border radius to give our button a rounded corner like shape, which is 10 pixels. If you see the button, it has a rounded corner. That's the work of our border radius right there. We go ahead to add padding so as to give spacing in between or in our button. So padding up and down 11 pixels, left and right 45 pixels. And the font size in our button should be 14 pixels. And want to also add a weight to our button font, which will in this case be 500. And this is what our page looks like now. We have our header with the logo and the nav links and buttons. Now we style the hero content, where we have the content of the hero part of the page. Like in our earlier description, our hero content is divided into left and right. So we have a class of hero content left and hero content right in two different divs. In our hero content left, it's where we are going to have the text, the H1, which is the first text in the design. Also a paragraph text. I already copied the text because it's a very long one to type. And also the button as shown in the design. And this is what our page looks like. We go ahead to add the image in the right hand side of the hero content. The source as linked in our image folder is the creedherobg.png, and we also have an alternate text for accessibility concerns. We save that and check. We also have the image now on the page. Now we are left to style these parts. In this section, we are styling the hero content. Starting with the hero content class itself, we are going to add a margin top to distance the header from the hero content, that is 75 pixels. We're also going to have a margin left of 165 pixels. Next up, we style the hero content left. That's the left hand side where we have the text. We'll be giving it a max width of 500 pixels so we can have a nice fit for the text. And go ahead to add text for styling for the H1, which is in the hero content left. The first styling we are going to give it is the font width, which is 700. I'm going to edit the font width. This is not well spelled, so we have width. That's correct. Clean it up. And the next is our font size, which in this case will be 58 pixels, and the line height will be 87 pixels. I'm also going to add a color, which is the X color we've been using, EEE90B, and this is what we have currently. I'll go ahead to style the P tag, which is also in the hero content left section. I have the selector of P. First thing I want to also give it is the font weight of 400, a font size of 16 pixels, a line height of 24 pixels. I'll also add a color property, which is our X code EEE90B, and a margin top so as to distance the text from the H1. In this case is 24 pixels, and this is quite nicely done currently. The next thing to style is the button, which is also in the hero content left tag or section. So we pick the tag button relative to the hero content left. Distance is from the text above. Give it a margin top of 60 pixels, a background. The button has a yellow background, so the background color has an X code of F2C034. Then the border radius to have a round corner for the button is 4 pixels. Add a padding for the spacing in the button, 20 pixels up and down, 40 pixels left and right. I'll also add a border for the button, which is 1 pixel solid, and also use the same color as the background. I will add a font weight of 500 to my button text, and also a font size of 14 pixels. I will also set the line height to 21 pixels and give it a color. This time around it's a different color. It's a dark shade color of 282828. That's the X code. Now we need to place this image on the right hand side, and this will be done on the mother component, or we call it a parent tag. And the parent tag is the hero content, where I give it a display flex, justify content space between for the distance between both divs. And according to the design, the image is not supposed to go to the far edge. So I'll be giving this container a max width of 1107 pixels. And there we have the final result of our implementation so far. I hope you've learned one or two things from this video. If you haven't subscribed yet, kindly click on the subscribe button below and also like and share this video. Let me know what you think about my implementation approach in the comment section below. Until next time, ciao.